Hey, what's going on? Back again. I'll see something real quick because this my live stream's fucked up. Oh Lord, they really making it hard for us to stream, bro. Damn. All right, there we go. Shit, that got on my nerves. Like for a minute, I fucked up. Sorry about it. Yeah, bro, that shit got me worked up. I ain't. I gotta get used to that shit. Sometimes yeah, it's a connection issue on my end, so I apologize. I had a lot to talk about, but damn, a little extra today. So we see what we're talking about here, and yeah, salute. If anyone's listening, listen. All right, I had a lot of bullshit going on in my way, so it's a lot going on. It's a lot going on. So I gotta see what's going on here on my end, because sometimes there'll be some bullshit on my end, but apologize for that. I had to restructure my shit, and yeah, that's got to go because sometimes that happens. The restructuring ain't changed until they fix that shit. Yeah, thank you. So I can just be back up in here and just what I'm saying and do what I need to do. Yeah, back on regulars. Okay, so it's a lot going on. Yeah. NBA has been intense, like they talk about the play in. I'm watching ticket, from a distance, just keep my mind shit, spared or whatever. A lot going on, a lot of coaches getting fired, yeah, politics is the same. I just watched Willie Pete last week talk about the so-called, the people, the whites or whatever you want to call it, these regular people, Americans are struggling with Trump. And a lot of people getting deported. It's not new. We know Trump's a clown, we know he's a moron and everything, but that's what those fools voted for. And you're gonna get what you get. A lot says gonna be no, it's not, it's over. Like what SWP was saying in his videos, he's pretty much accurate. It's not better. Neither candidate was perfect. It's just you're going to struggle just a bit. It's collapsing. It's over. I've been talking about this stuff for years and years, but I think the politics in this country is already split. They're gonna try to push. Like I said, they ain't gonna push a female president, which they will. Like this is over, bro. Like when Trump was in office, shit didn't get done and people are ready for warfare. It's over, bro. Like you got his own people hating on Elon Musk already, so it's not looking good for him the first year or the next year. So that third year, he's got to make some adjustments. He ain't gonna make it, bro. I just don't see him making it. I just don't, and it's over. And I think it's gonna be a reset. America is declining right now. Everybody's want to live overseas now. I've noticed that. I say, what the hell's going on? See what I'm saying? It's not about left and right. It's over. There needs to be a party that doesn't represent those two, which will never happen. That's why it's going to collapse. You already got civil war on the brink. Black folks is fine. Now that kid with Carmelo and that boy, the Metcalf family, they bunch of poor trash that try to kill Carmelo, and Carmelo finally, self defense. But the cases I've been hearing a lot of videos, he's kind of pushing back and put him on house arrest or something. Like it's an interesting case, but I ain't gonna touch on it too much because I think it's irrelevant. Because what we see right here is like semi retribution and shit. I just think a lot of times people just get caught up in the moment. And I did my research on it. I mean, that tape does not look good for that other family, the Metcalf family. They look like fools on there. See, remember they did us like fools years and years ago. Now it's coming to bite them. See, I'll never forget when Trump was office the first time. He actually hurt his own people. He didn't really hurt us. He actually hurt them. I think if you know who voted for him, that 13% of so-called of us voted for him, right? Well, that's probably more than that on the low. They just don't want to admit it and did not write the word black. Let's go put that out there. Because I look at elections like census. And that's the problem. Because if you look at it like that, you see what I'm doing. I'm kind of a little late because of technical difficulties. I mean, I was supposed to come to a time, but but the thing won't connect. It happens sometimes on live stream because I hate live streaming like this sometimes. Restream's good when it was his old self, but now they done try to be like everybody. Like you can't do that. That's get kind of tacky. And YouTube is kind of weird sometimes. So this is a site that I don't take serious with gear. I tried it 4 years ago. It did okay. I was experimenting. See, when you live stream, yeah, do it out the microphone is cool. But that shit gets played out. I tried that in 2020. That didn't work for me. People would try to kick off the panel. You have bad sound. I don't want to hear nothing. Fuck out of here. Did my own research. The next year, the other guy did not help me. That nigga did not help me. I did it on my own. And he tried to criticize if I had a USB. He's a clown. That's why I didn't fuck with him like that. So when I did it by myself and did my own research, I was a content creator. We was competing with each other with numbers. It happens. That's YouTube. That's why I don't fuck with everybody on here. Because most of these bitch ass little boys are simps and they suckers in real life. That's why they can't really produce no content. I can tell you the truth, how sorry they are, and they don't live like that offline, of course. But that's a whole nother story on them. Fuck them. But in the sports world, it's looking good. Basketball's looking good. Boston's trying to defend the championship. I just saw the play in Orlando Magic had a great game. Now, Draymond's words is coming true, but playoff Jimmy will show up. I just don't trust the Rockets beating the Warriors. I just got listened through Ticket TV. One of the guys named James, he's a Heat fan, a typical Heat fan. He don't know basketball. He know a little bit. I don't know if he's legit or not. But you're gonna know. And that's just how you look at these things and just dictate what's going on. Now, I'm not tripping off the fact that what's reality and what's not. When you look at these things, you just don't really think that the playoffs are just bad. I mean, salute to everybody that's watching. Shouts out to everybody. You Scott, it don't matter. You don't have to. Now, if you want to like and share, that's fine. It's cool. It's cool with me. But what I look at it is, I just look at it for what the emotions are, and then just that's it. Let me check something real quick because I don't want to deal with that nonsense. Yeah, I had to fight for something. Delete that. Yeah, it's a lot of mess going on. Video storage, recordings. Yeah, I had a little hiccup. That's a hiccup video. Make no mistakes about this shit. Yeah, I ain't got time for that goofy shit. Damn sure don't got time for that goofy shit. It's a lot going on, but the playoffs it's here. It's this coming up weekend or next week or whatever. It's crazy, and I think the play-in is Mavs and Kings. I'm gonna watch that tonight, and I'm gonna probably watch Miami too. I think they're gonna be on ESPN. Yeah, the Bulls and the Heat. Yeah, the two teams I really like. I got the Bulls in this one. They're a good team. The Mavs and the Kings. I'm a Kings guy. Kings might win that game. I'm just gonna tell you that right now. They may win that game against the Mavs because they ain't got Kyrie, so you know how that goes. Detroit's already set. Magic's set. Hawks got a game of the winner of the Bulls and Heat game. I don't trust Atlanta, but Bulls will beat the Hawks. You know what I'm saying? The Hawks is all right, but ain't no really much there. Okay. The Grizzlies got a shot. The winner of that game against the Kings, and I don't think they're gonna beat the Kings. Me personally, the Grizzlies they may win, but I just don't see it. Sacramento may end up playing the Thunder. Thunder may have the easiest road, but they're gonna have to play the tough round against Clippers and Nuggets. I think it's gonna be Thunder and the Clippers in the semis. A lot of people's picking the Lakers to beat the Wolves. Nah, that ain't gonna be a good series. They have a shot to beating them. Yes, Luka owns Anthony Edwards in the series last year. But that don't mean he's the better player. See, he didn't win a championship last year. There's a possibility the Lakers can lose that series. I got the Wolves, me personally, but the Lakers do have a shot. I'm not gonna count them out. But that next round, whoever plays that Golden State team, like I said, Golden State gonna beat the Rockets. Me personally, Rockets are good. Yeah, they got Emi Doka. Yeah, he's out. And they were saying that. I agree. Where I disagree with him that is Emi Doka don't have the personnel to win a seat. He needs one more piece to help him out. Jalen Green's not that guy. He's too distracted with that MILF, that harlot that he messing with, claiming he gonna marry. That's gonna hurt him. And he young too. He ignorant too. He a good scorer, but can he show up in the playoffs? See, everybody's picking the obvious. They're picking OKC and Cleveland, just like, or I call them Believeland. Cleveland Cavaliers, Donovan Mitchell, man, he ain't it, bro. No, they get knocked out in the first round, me personally. Or if they don't get knocked out in the first, I'll say this: I want them to win the next round, this first round, and then go to the next round. See if they're gonna play. I don't. They ain't going that far, no, because we know Donovan Mitchell's back track record. Okay, let's look at the NBA playoffs from last year. Oh shit! I pressed the wrong button. Uh, hit, I hit the wrong thing. Let's see who was in the bracket last year. Okay, the who was okay. The Cavs. So the Knicks were the second seed last year. I do remember that they played in the Sixers. I do remember that. Okay, so the Knicks are the second seed from last year, right? Indiana was the sixth seed, and they played Boston last year. Now, this is kind of interesting. Let's talk about it. Because I want to know. I'll show you the screen for a minute. Hold on for a minute. Hold on for a minute. Let's look at this bracket. Yeah, I'm taking you from last year's bracket, what I saw. Okay, last year. Boston won 4-1 games, right? They had Porzingis, they had Miami, and this is when they had Jimmy Butler, right? Because they had the previous year, and they beat Miami 4-1. Yeah, Jimmy and they wasn't gonna beat them, right? They was waiting on who? Cleveland. Now Cleveland or Orlando. Orlando will always have Cleveland's number. Cleveland is lucky because who they play in the first round don't really matter at this point, but they'll go to the next round. But they will not be. They're just a second round exit team. That's all they are. I don't think they're gonna face Boston. No, because the way I look at it from last year, what I'm looking at right here, Boston beat them 4-1. They're still a better team. Cleveland, nah, Cleveland, that ain't gonna be no serious because that's just them saying, "Oh, Cleveland got a chance to beat them." No, they don't, because the Sixers was in the playoffs last year. Think about it. The Bucks did not have Giannis. That's true. Yeah, he was hurt, but that doesn't mean nothing. Pacers should beat the Bucks. Me personally. Now, Giannis can carry a whole team without Dame. You need both of them on the floor to win. I just don't see them winning against the Pacers because the experience of Siakam, Rick Carlisle, and all that. No, he's a good coach. And the Knicks ain't going far. They can be beat by the Pistons. Now, the Pistons are a little inexperienced. They just on the up and up. But the Knicks should win that series. But if they don't, that's their ass. Now, Dallas was the fifth seed last year. They beat the Thunder last year. Now, they beat the Timberwolves in 5 games. That's true. Yes, Luka Doncic beat Andy Edwards in 5 games. Now this year, he's on the same team with the Timberwolves, and then Luka's on the Lakers. That's not going to happen with the Lakers. I just don't see that because they don't have the depth. Like Luka's gonna find out that LeBron ain't gonna play well under pressure. That ain't gonna work. Yeah, they beat the Clippers in 6 games. That was the Mavs last year, right? That's with a not healthy Kawhi when he got hurt. That's not gonna happen to him this year. He's playing like he's unbelievable. Minnesota Timberwolves, the third seed, knocked out the Suns, and they beat the Nuggets in Game 7. And we know the Nuggets beat the Lakers. at best. This is last year's playoffs, right? Last year's playoffs. Playoffs. I just want to keep that in mind. That's last year's playoffs. Okay? I'm just going to keep that in mind with y'all. So, yeah, that's last year's playoffs. That's the difference. Okay, let's look at 2000. What's the current? The bracket. I want to see the bracket. Let's see something real quick because we got time today. All right. All right. Let's see something real quick. Yeah. Let's see something real quick. Let's see something real quick. Yeah, I know y'all can't see it a little bit. I'm gonna point it out. I'm gonna use my arrow. Okay. So the Bulls and the Heat played tonight. They played the Hawks. See, the Hawks, they lost against the Magic. Magic has played the Celtics. This should be a great series right here. I got the Celtics, but it's just a whole other level when you play. You know what I'm saying? But then the Pistons, some people say the Pistons should beat the Knicks. Now, Bernie Bickerstaff did went to the second round. This is interesting. Now, Thibodeau is good too. He went to, but he went further. This is going to be very interesting. This may go 7 games. Now, the Knicks got the experience. I know Anthony Towns can go to the conference. Now, if the Knicks do beat the Pistons, them and the Celtics, that'd be a great series. I would love to see the Celtics and the Knicks. I still got the Celtics beating the Knicks because they ain't going to go that far. So, that's the first round. The first round, Cleveland can beat anybody. Cleveland should be, me personally, if they get the Hawks, Cleveland will win that. I'll say Cleveland will beat the Hawks, and they definitely going to beat Miami or whoever. Now, the Bulls, the one they don't want to face is the Bulls. The Bulls is dirty. They're a dirty ass team. Shouts out to my Chicago Bulls. They dirty. They got Josh Giddey out there. They're just acting crazy out there. It's just so crazy to Cavs versus Bulls. Let's see something right quick. Yeah. Prove your humanity. Punks. That's Thursday night. That's tomorrow. No, it's Friday. Excuse me. That's Friday. And then ESPN, Memphis. I'll check that game out. I'm trying to figure out the win. Yeah, the Bulls should be tough because they won some games against the Cavs, I believe. I don't keep up with the season series, but that's a whole nother story on that. I'm gonna leave it alone. But I think it was damn near close. But in the playoffs, it's gonna be very interesting. They really want the Hawks or probably the Heat. We'll see. But you got these things going on, so it's just a fact of a matter of time. But yeah, but that should be interesting. They should win the first round and then the next round. Now the Thunder, on the other hand, they should beat the Grizzlies and the Kings and the Mavericks because they're a better team. They picked them to go to the finals. I don't. The inexperience is there. Chet Holmgren has never played in a playoff game before. His experience starts this year. His whole experience, because it's going to get to a point that his experience, he has to make sure that the team is intact. See, SGA is good, but the thing is, you got to make sure your stuff is intact and how you're going to win, right? Now, the Lakers, and these two teams are very experienced. One's been to the conference last year. Luke is on this new team. This team is not like there's some inexperienced young guys on here as well. And Jackson, they never been to a playoffs. They ain't gonna make it. I don't see them beating the Warriors or any of these teams down here. Rockets have a chance of the coaching factor. A lot of people try to say Steve Kerr's not a good coach. Yes, he is, because Kerr used the same system with Popovich with the Spurs. He's also a good coach with the when he used to play for the Bulls. He learned a lot from Phil Jackson. He is a chemistry coach, but what makes him different? He can be both. He can be a hybrid. He just won 4 championships as a coach, and if he wins this one, he's in that conversation. But this guy right here, Imi Doka, hasn't won a championship. He has something to prove. Houston's got something to prove. He wants to face Boston. Now, if this does happen, the Celtics and the Rockets do make in the finals. I will say, yeah, if the NBA really wants to, they try to rig it for the Lakers, man. No one cares about no damn Lakers. LeBron and that Diddy shit, I don't want to hear nothing. Fuck the Lakers. They're out of there. I don't see it. Luke is good, but that Austin Reeves is y'all weakest link. All their guys are their weakest link. I just don't see them being ant in a sweep. I just don't see that, because Minnesota's going to be very prepared. And the guy that's the GM for the Timberwolves used to be with the Nuggets. That's why the Nuggets collapsed. Without him, they would have got like two or three championships right now. Because, see, they could have got it last year. Think about that. If he not went to Minnesota. That's why Minnesota was good last year. And now look at them again. They got this different team, but still, they were the 3rd seed last year. But they'll be very interesting if they upset this team, because they lack the defensive depth. They say, oh, they're a great defensive team. No, that's media talking. No, they're not. I watched them play a few times. They get guys blown by. See, regular season is regular season, but the playoffs is different. When the game slows down, they're not ready. They don't have the guys that can run fast like that. Houston's a fast team, balance up and down. They got size, but Warriors' experience will derail them. This is a great Western Conference toss-up. Me personally, I got the Clippers. If Kawhi's healthy, he beating the Nuggets. The Nuggets done. Once they fire Mike Malone, they're done. Like, they have a shot of beating Kawhi if he gets hurt, but I just don't see the Nuggets. They out of there. It's gonna be the Clippers, probably the Thunder the next round. That's gonna be interesting to see how the Clippers do well with the Thunder. Now, if the Lakers do beat this team, they still got to go against the Warriors. That's gonna be a tough road. It's not gonna be easy for them. Only way they can win this series, they got to play Houston. If they don't play Houston, that's it. I don't see Lakers winning that. No, because if they lack the defense, they got a ton of weaknesses on their team. We'll see. But that trade with Luka, yeah, but he has to prove something. He don't prove nothing. If Dallas do some miracle, that'd be crazy. If they win the play-in and win this, that says a lot. I'm not saying Dallas is going to win, but I'm saying it's a possibility. It's crazy, because Anthony Davis won a championship years ago, about 5 years ago. He's looking for another one. Do not be surprised. And that play-in was just, if Nico knew something that we don't know, you want to talk about conspiracy? This right here. If they beat Sacramento tonight, if they beat Sacramento and they beat Memphis, Memphis ain't got the skills to stop Dallas. I'm sorry. They ain't gonna make it. That'd be funny if they won. I'm just saying, I like both of these teams. They're my favorites because of the players that I used to watch playing. My favorite team really is I'm a Pistons guy and a Bulls guy at the same time, but I'm big on this team. But the Pistons, they just not. We're there, but we're not there yet. We're a couple pieces away. After that, we're good. But yeah, that's all I want to talk about, man. Like it's getting heating up, and you know everybody's talking about the playoffs and you know the bracket Cooper Flag and all this other shit. Um, Cooper Flag to me is alright. He ain't gonna be no wonder, but he'll be a star. But he ain't gonna be that. He has blemishes in this game. He's got to work on his defense. He's not somebody I would just take seriously. I just don't take these people seriously when they're like that. But when you have something like that, you just look at it like, all right, this is the real deal, and we're talking about a real thing here. But you understand that most of the time you're just looking at it from that angle, you know. I just don't see like people just keeping it 1,000 with people, and they just like, oh, this is it. This is how you're gonna be. I say, yeah, you damn right it's gonna be. You'll be one of those teams. You'd be like, all right, this is something you look at and just prepare yourself. But my foundational of the stuff is just like when I look at the game of basketball, I look at it from that lens. I don't look at it from everybody else's lens. I look at it for what it is. Like most teams, they're just not worth a damn just to talk about, but they are sometimes because you got a team that believes in themselves, and it's just like, really, are we here? Or are we just here to spectate? You know, I ain't gonna stay on it too long, but you know what I'm saying? It's a lot to talk about. You know, everybody's talking about the NBA. They're talking about a lot of stuff going on and doing great things and just, you know, a lot of stuff going on. But, you know, all these coaches getting fired is crazy. And then you just look at the stuff that was really happening now. And that's what you look at and you say, all right, this is it's one of the few things that people can just talk to and act crazy. But me personally, the East, I already got Boston. I mean, the East looks very interesting. Now, don't be surprised if Pacers do win some games. I'm just saying that you got about like at least two or three dark horses. You know, you got Detroit. Hell, you got the Pacers and probably the Bucks. Those are the three dark horses right there. If Giannis beats these teams, me personally, I know people picking Giannis to beat and to go against Boston. That'd be a great series, a rematch from the past. If Giannis ever does something with that team, I can see it. But the regret of Drew Holiday winning one, oh, that pissed off Giannis big time, big time, and he don't like that. But can you imagine Drew Holiday win three? Boy, see, that's saying something about Doc. Doc's not a good coach. Yeah, he known to 3-1 blow leads. He was good in the day, but Doc, you're a failure. You're not a guy that's gonna just be recognized for your build. Doc, you have to understand a lot of these teams, they just gonna blow past you. Even Doka has a shot beating. the Warriors, me personally. But if Draymond gets emotional, yeah, he gets started. That's how you beat him. That's how you beat the Warriors, really, because he makes that offense flow. Even though Curry and Butler's the key, they got to be on all cylinders. I think Draymond's not worried about that in the first round. He does very well in the first two rounds. It's just when you get close to that championship. I think when the Warriors get hot and they're healthy, oh, they're a dangerous team to beat. They're a dangerous team to beat. They ain't gonna get a lot of calls, but you're gonna see what type of series you're gonna see. Houston is just not the team, man. Like, to I would say they're champions. They're a couple pieces away, but a lot of people will get exposed like that. But that's how you look at these games like that. I know baseball's on fire and all that. Yeah, I saw this little weak ass WNBA draft. I said, man, they picking this girl. What's her name? Paige. Another white hope, huh? It's just crazy, man. Paige be like, and they won. I think that was the Yukon Huskies draft. I'm so gonna call it instead of the WNBA draft. I'm call it the Yukon Huskies draft. A lot of them got picked. And there's some Hawaiian chick. I think she's mixed with Asian. She got picked by somebody. She would come off of Don Sales team. She had a fro and everything. I think she was a second rounder. And that's how you got to look at it. And that's the one of the things that you look at and see that a lot of these teams, they just out here just trying to get their emotions off. But what? When I look at these regular season, I saw half. I've been watching Detroit all season. That turnaround with JB, man, that was an upgrade. Now the them to fall at 6 with the Knicks, that's gonna be very interesting. That may go 7. I don't know because I'm gonna pay attention to that series more than ever. That one and probably damn near all of them really, but I'm gonna pay attention to that one the most, and then everybody else is just be like, all right, this is it. But you gotta look at it for what it is, man. Like that's how I look at it. But when you're solid like I am to understand sports, yeah, it's one of those these years. Like the lot said it's not going to be a back to back for the champs. There's some truth to that. I can see any team can beat Boston, but Boston they dialed in. The coach. Like I said, Bruce Mazzulla is a good coach. They try to say he's not a good coach. It don't matter. He's proven it. If he gets another championship, and they try to say he ain't coaching nothing. I disagree. Like, oh boy was trying to say he ain't good. He tried to call him monster. I was like, dude's just mad because Eric Spoelstra ain't won one since then. So what's that say about him? You got two chances because you got LeBron. I could say the same thing about Miami. Like, I hate these fake ass Heat fans. The claim that they hate LeBron and I don't even give a fuck about that nigga. They were LeBron fans before he went down to Miami. I'll tell you these guys right now. The people that the ones Zion salute to them, salute the ticket, and Tural said they used to be a fan of LeBron once upon a time until that the decision. I was never a LeBron fanatic. I didn't like him since day one when he came to the league and ruined everything. He changed everything. It was his fault. That's why people don't like LeBron. It's a combination. The Pat McAfee interview was just put him on another level, but that exposed who he is. Already know. Yeah, we've been knowing he's a clown. But Pat used him to get clicks to get back at Stephen A. And now it looks crazy. Everybody's like, what type of world we're doing? I'm just talking a little sports here today, a mix of politics and things like that. I know a lot of people don't like Trump and everything. And I don't care for him either, but I'm just saying that a lot of stuff he's able to do, he can't even implement. And they always gonna blame it on left and right. It's not true. And Sarge talked about this. SWE talked about this in his videos and saying it's more to that. And you know what I'm saying? Like it's crazy out here. But you look at these reasons to see what's going on. But I understand. But when you're out here and you understand in the world, like there's more to just seeing things from that perspective. And I feel like a lot of teams that they get these runs, especially Cleveland, they're gonna be very disappointed in Donovan Mitchell. He cannot get past that second round. He's always a semifinals player that be in the semis every year. You can count on that with a lot of money. But if they don't win this championship, if they don't have a run like, and they haven't proved what last year, oh, they gonna get him up out of there. And to me personally, that's their Darius Garland's team. He just became an all-star thanks to D. Mitch. They say true, but he wasn't an all-star because he didn't participate enough. Remember, he was the fourth seed under JB Bickerstaff. And Detroit was a bottomless team, but he turned Detroit around. Oh, he turned that around. To me personally, it's not Bickerstaff. I remember his father, Bernie Bickerstaff. Whose fault is that in Cleveland? Mitchell. I'm just saying. But the Pacers are looking dangerous. I got them beating the Bucks. I don't trust Giannis carrying the load like that, and then you being ISO and Doc's ruining his play. Yeah, but the Eastern Conference, I just got Boston. They got a stacked team. They're healthy now. And you look at this stuff and you just like, I was pondering. I said, what if Boston faced any of those West teams, like the Clippers, Warriors? Now the Lakers are so tiresome; they ain't got the drop to stop Boston. It's really sad though. But Jalen Brown always liked them. But I know one of his peoples down here in Georgia. He Knew him when he went to Cal, but he went to a different high school. And it's just crazy. But shout out to APTV, man, correcting this fool that think mics is going to dictate platforms. It really don't. It depends on who's saying the great subject matter or whatever. I've proven that you can have a low budget or mid tier expense microphone students and gear and you be all right. It's just suckers like him and everybody else think that's the standard. And my issue was with that. I look back on it like, dude, you did not make my channel. I built my channel by myself with or without you. I did it my way in a certain way how I got subscribers and builds. I don't really argue with weak motherfuckers on here. And that's how you gotta look at it. So I look at these games, it's crucial, and the championship is wide open on the West. I mean, personally, I got the Clippers. I'm not a fan of them. I don't care for them, but I really like Golden State's chances. If Jimmy Butler does something that's not been done before, he took a team to the AFC to the NBA Finals. Now, if he does this with this Warriors team, with the help of those other two guys, and their depth bench chain is great, that team deserves that championship. I don't care what nobody says, and that's insanity to me. But you know how that goes. You know how it goes. It's crazy. And people look at these games as crucial, but one thing I could say that Luka trade kind of made people crazy on the internet for weeks. And I think we got to see what he do in playoffs. I know he'll win a game or two. They may go 6 or 7. The Timberwolves and the Lakers. That's gonna be very interesting. I don't see how they're gonna neutralize Luka. I ain't worried about LeBron and Austin Reeves. They ain't got no defense. They done. They play with fake urgency, and that's how they got all those series. And I'm looking at like this is crazy. But some games this is going to tip us now. It don't get physical the first round until the next 3 rounds. That's when the game gets really physical, and you start seeing the refs act a certain way. They just let them play the last couple of games. They probably gonna let them play the first round physical all the way through. But if you're one of those teams, you're one of those teams. And I look at it like, oh, okay, this is where we're going. Gotcha. So I look at it like these series are going to be very interesting. I think the playoffs is a very interesting time. Know I normally talked about, when the Super Bowl was huge this year, and I think the Eagles, I'm glad they won, but this year's playoffs is very shaky. Everybody's wearing a Cooper flag on the low. They just want this championship to be gone and then everybody vacation. Doesn't work like that, fellas. There's lots of going on in those areas. Pretty much. Yeah, politics is kind of dry right now because the tariffs and everybody's panicking, things like that. White media is losing grip on the males or the men of society. It's pretty much it. I'm just looking at it like, all right. So when I look back at things, I think 4 years ago I came a long way. Gear wise, I'm same stuff. Same been using the one I've been using the most, but it's pretty much the same how it fans out. Got 40 something minutes. Okay, I'm just gonna do something real quick. I'm gonna step away real quick. I'll be right back. I'm going on mute. Yeah, I'm back. Sometimes like yeah, I need a little pick me up. Whew, need some caffeine. Dozed off for a minute. But like that's all I got on the sports, like, the basketball that I've been focused on that lately. But but a lot of times I see a lot of simps online too. Talk about females there and there, and let's talk about this bullshit. A lot of these dudes, they be tricking and simping, but shouts out to Wall's production, he be breaking it down. A lot of these niggas, they be pulling their cars and try to act like they got game, real shit they don't. And motherfuckers know how to treat them. And this is very common what you see online, offline. Don't be surprised how sorry these dudes are. But in these spaces of, yeah, they've been hijacked by Sims. And I think Wacky said this, they were. Now, if I sent them when I first saw them, they are Sims. they're not hiding it anymore. Back in the day, they used to hide that shit. Now it's like they embrace it. Some weirdo shit. But what I think about it all is like they're telling on themselves. Anytime you tell on yourself online, be careful because a lot of people they'll use that against you long term. And believe it or not, it's going to come back and bite you at the end because that type of stuff, that behavior is unacceptable in other places, but it's acceptable in America in some degree because they get a lot of leeway. A lot of it is what it is. He said killing the iPhone is reportedly Tim Cook's top priority. We've been talking about the iPhone killers from the early years of Apple's best product, but none of those rivals were able to deliver. If anything, several companies that tried to come up, yes, competition when they be talking, okay, coming up with compelling iPhone alternatives ended up exiting the mobile business. BlackBerry, Nokia, Microsoft, and LG are some of the names that will come up immediately in such conversations. But there's no question that we're nearing the next phase of computing where how we use phones and mightly complete change. The dawn of the generative artificial intelligence makes that even clearer. We'll talk to an AI more and more as it grows more sophisticated, and some of that AI will reside on the iPhone. No need to look at a screen if the AI can understand your commands and perform actions flawlessly, whether it's sending an email or shopping online on your behalf, or even performing work tasks in the background. That shit ain't gonna happen because people are too stupid. What's going on in the current country now? These little even before chapter then, fuck iPhone and fuck the tech industry. They ain't gonna do nothing. It's over, bro. iPhones are shit. People using Androids, they don't even know AI. That's just an optional button. Like, get the fuck out of here, bro. Get the fuck out of here, bro. Damn. Desperate for fucking nothing. Desperate for fucking nothing. I don't understand why y'all motherfuckers be like, oh, I'm desperate. No, y'all desperate for nothing. Y'all the reason why shit goes left and right out here. You know what I'm saying? Like, what the fuck? Not tripping out here like that. Not like that. It's crazy. Just looking at what's going on here. It's a lot of things that people just get caught up on the apps and they say iPhone killers and shit like that. It's crazy. But when I look at these things, like yeah, I talked a little bit of sports and the NBA. It's like it ain't nothing what people talk about right now. So when I look at these things, like how when they talk about the iPhone is the greatest thing in the world, but it's already is Steve Jobs shit, but it's been played out. People get Androids, yes, they get iPhones. You get both and both. I'm so sick of these people say, "Oh, you got an iPhone killer and all that." It's all bullshit, bro. And Apple and AI don't mix. It's already garbage. Most people don't know how to use tech. They're too stupid. That's a 10 to 20-year process how technology is gonna be. It's gonna be the same bullshit protocols you see fail safes they that don't work, so to speak. it is what it is. I'm just not going to just fall for anything just to be standard. You know what I mean? It's just a bunch of bullshit in the end of the day. I just don't like the fact that people be lying. You know what I mean? I get that feeling. So when you talk about these things, when you talk about what's really going on in the world, like I look at these things, be like, okay, this is the stuff that you really look at and just say, hey, this is how you know what to look for. But bottom line is, yeah, I'm going for an hour because I kind of messed around and did late, whatever, and get a couple more minutes in because I know it's gonna be an hour or two because it's 56 minutes and like 3 minutes. But yeah, I'll just get an hour in because came off late because it's about 56 minutes in. Yeah, because I had technical difficulties. I apologize, y'all, but we get a full stream the week after Wednesday, but this has been light. I've the technical difficulties done stop me from doing shit. I got to see if it's gonna work or not, and and that's the thing about Restring. Restring, I've had it for like probably 3 years. I've had it for 3 years, and it's been doing me justice. I mean, I paid for it and all this other stuff. Prior to that, I had 4 years ago, I had the yards. And StreamYards to me is just trash. I'm not paying for that shit. It's not worth it. That's like a headache and a half. I'm not trying to pay for something that don't really matter. StreamYards is not standard. But you got weak motherfuckers on it and think it's the best thing in the world, but it's not. It's a nice bill to have, but add a lot of stuff. But I stuck with this shit. I'm like, all right, this is what I'm gonna stick with. There it is. It's crazy. I'm just gonna clear that. It's got the 720. Everybody's talking about Jimmy Butler's high points and all that stuff. You know how that goes. Look at this stuff right now. A couple more minutes. Yeah, it's three something. But I usually go off at 3. But it was like it's gonna be short today because the technical difficulties was that bad. Let me see something real quick. And yeah. Yeah. Cause one thing I can say right now, I know people are just not, in here today. Cause I know it's Wednesday, it's like a little hard week. Everybody's out, but salute to everybody. But I was looking at a lot of stuff like, not just content creators and things like that. I've been looking at different videos and things like that. People talk about the same old stuff all the time. So when you talk about relationship content, that shit can get stale for an hour or two. Like they have some good points and everything. I've been looking at what's going on. Like YouTube has been very, very dry. I've been looking at reaction channels lately, and I learned a lot. Like these dudes' stuff, it's entertainment, but it's a lot of repetitive shit. Sometimes it gets old, but you studying what they're talking about and things like that. Now that Arlette show, that Pop the Balloon show, fellas, stay off that shit, man. That's for simps only, and simps thrive on those shows. And I'll tell you a secret: they thrive on those shows because they make sure the things that come out on people and they be lying. And Arlette, she's nothing but a you know what? She ain't no woman. She a dog. Take off that makeup when she don't look decent. She looks mediocre as hell. And then the husband's a fucking simp. Fuck him and that family. That's how I feel. Anybody that don't like it, you can fuck off this channel. I'm just telling you what it is. Fuck that show and fuck them. Try to grill simps technically, and they ain't even men. They're just boys on there pretend to be. I'm a man. No, you're a simp. So the fuck you is. Fuck out of here. Y'all looking for the box, man. What's the hell y'all looking for on this show? How the fuck I go on the show and look like a fool on it? Ain't got time for that, bruh. That's what is that what they on? Is that what they on? Better get real. Better get pretty. Get real. But salute to people that skywatch me. Salute to everybody. And yeah, I'll try to have a better stream because technical difficulties not my hour stream. I really want to say go in on the sports and things like that. It's been a lot said. Yes, the Nuggets fired a coach. I talked a little bit about that, and then I talked about a little bit about what's going on in the world. And it's not much, it's just been dry lately. You know what I'm saying? Like I just want to say something on here, just speak my mind or whatever. It's just little random thoughts today. That's what the stream's all about. But it's a common thing to have things mind racing in your head. But normally, people's comments about my older videos, I don't care. See, they wait to the last minute comment. Like, dude, I'm not gonna argue with you. You should have debated me years ago when this channel started. I was on that type of time. You new boys are over here believing the FPA BS. Like, come on, bro. Like, we're just people from the East, and that's what I believe. That's just where I stand on. I don't subscribe to that shit. When did we start calling us FPA? That's that feds wearing nigga shit. I'm gonna address that on a vlog stream. We gotta stop promoting that. That shit is bullshit to me because all that is to divide who we are historically. Ain't nobody going for that. The average so-called person of that will not go for that. And they don't respect you on that level. You're just dumb. Because remember, everybody believes they're A and all this other shit. They're brainwashed. They're fucked. That's that utilitarian culture that doesn't work. America's not these C's and L's like you slow niggas on here. Don't like. No, this is utilitarian and they're backwards. They just lie a lot. One side, the other side is liberal. There is no because it does not exist in a world of this bitch ass country. I'm gonna teach y'all something. It don't exist. It's just racist liberals that spoke their mind to say to pretend to be conservative. That's what they do. So stop saying they're conservative. Then conservatism applies to Switzerland, Sweden, and all those countries that practice it and live in it. This country's not built like that. It's soft. Just keeping it real. It's been over since 9/11. We ain't the same country no more. It's over. All right. So with that, shalom to the people of Israel, to the Gentiles. Until next time, I'm signing off and I'm out.